Tell me how you feel, is it real? I don't wanna overthink. Is it all for show? I don't know, feeling like I'm on the brink of something beautiful, or maybe terrible. I know I shouldn't ask you to be open with me when I have my secrets that I tend to keep safely under lock and key. I'm hypocritical, but at least I know we could be beautiful, or maybe terrible. Only one way to know, only one way to know. Is this a yes or a no? Which way will it go? Only one way to know, only one way to know. Tell me how you feel, is it real? I don't wanna overthink. Is it all for show? I don't know, feeling like I'm on the brink of something beautiful, or maybe terrible. I know I shouldn't ask you to be open with me when I have my secrets that I tend to keep safely under lock and key. I'm hypocritical, but at least I know we could be beautiful, or maybe terrible. Only one way to know, only one way to know. Is this a yes or a no? Which way will it go? Only one way to know, only one way to know. Only one way
Hello everyone, my name is Brian Sutton, and behind me you'll notice a bridge, and I come with a message today that I'm sure you've heard from other people before, but it's now my turn to step up and see it and take a hold of it and say it's time for a change. And that change isn't for what most people think is going on out here in what Commonwealth is and the gap in money placement in people's lives, because things have changed so drastically where money isn't an issue anymore, really and truly, if you think about it. The big issue today that I can see, being from here in the United States as a native, and that's generational wise for some time back, looking at things in an era of mass migration where migration isn't a new thing, but the reason for migration has changed. Before it was political stance, religious stance, just trying to find where you belong. But now so many people from all over the world have rushed here to the States with the embodiment of the American dream of being their it, and the concept of money is what they pursue. And when they get here, for some people, the context of being able to make money while establishing their life to enjoy themselves and do something for their family where they don't feel held down and a prisoner to a system that dictates what they're supposed to do is their real motive. And I can appreciate and adore those people that have made their way here to get out of the madness. But the downside is that there are people who only come here in pursuit of what they see on TV, what they hear other people tell them, what they see mass media or social media now projecting America to be. And it is messing with some of us a little bit. It's taking away from our lives, our missions, and what we're trying to do. So that gap I come to speak about today is about what has been the most impressive thing about what's happened here in America over time, getting past wars, political strain, and religious persecution, and people finding their freedom to get to their own expression of self, get to their own rite of passage to doing more. That's the one freedom that is here, more so than anything else. And it's happened since the Industrial Revolution, really and truly, where America has become the greatest service industry for the world, more so than anything physically made. It's the informational gap, the knowledge gap, the wisdom gap of being able to take the idea of education and infrastructure and social involvement to be able to really get people on board with changing their lives, moving things ahead, doing more. With the onset of Silicon Valley doing more with what computers are and where the world is right now with technology, especially when you look at people so adamant about AI and automation. Well, those of you who depend on AI right now, depend on automation, where you don't know how to do it yourself. You're dependent on somebody like me who's a developer, who loves web development, who loves network infrastructure, who loves looking at what's going on with people around the world, really and truly, when we're talking about linguistics or international studies, and figuring out how to help people boost their economic systems more so than anything else. This is about the economy before anything else. When you're looking at business, the one thing most people overlook in what business is, saying you don't need to go to school in order to do business, is the economic stance. What's going on with the economy? Do you really know what the economy is? Do you really know what you're doing in business? So another bridge that we're creating here in a situation in multiple paths, multiple routes of success is the gap between making money and actually doing business. People make money every day doing whatever as a task in life, but doesn't mean they're really launching a business, doesn't mean they understand what branding is. So to go from money making to having a brand, that's the big difference maker here today. And a lot of people are very impersonable. They do not understand advertising and promoting. They do not really know what marketing is. They're trying to sell people on something in life because they don't understand branding. When you understand branding, you change everything for yourself because you realize it's about the community behind what you're doing and making sure that you stay to your mission and your vision and the commitment on top of the promise that you are guaranteeing to deliver to someone. My personal statement is over-deliver on premise to overwhelm with promise. And what that truly means is set people up for success, giving so much more on the onset where it's not about money. It's about people getting an idea about what you're about personally so they can fall in love with you behind everything else that you're doing. Once they fall in love with you, you get support on what you're trying to do because people want you to succeed. When you understand what a brand is, you have people who support you first, and then what that brand means to come into life, and that's something that they can get behind and in their own brands and their marketing, their advertising, promotions. Now they have a connected point of doing more. So that's the key that a lot of people aren't seeing, especially when you look at social media. People trying to be influencers, trying to be celebrities, now using AI, saying, you know, I can copy a celebrity's image and I can put that on my something and I can get people's attention because people take the celebrities. But what is it that you're really giving in that situation besides a fake image? And for some of us who see through it, it's like, wait, you person there who obviously isn't really showing me that you're out here making those kind of connections, and you promoting AI as you're it right now, that you have some connection to that celebrity ultimately in your community, that community is actually involved in that celebrity's life. That will backfire on you in the long run, because people want something real, something tangible, in order to work off from the groundworking to become more. So now, why did I bring up the bridge concept ultimately and truly, and where is it that I'm heading? Well, as I said, it's time to make a change. It's time for me to shift things into gear, because I now have my fond purpose. I've made my way to more in making a connection that is now becoming a very lasting bond, and I see how I'm opening doors to others. But there's a lucrative opportunity in it all that I've been working hard to figure out how to market the right way without selling you on anything. I want you to see what it is, understand it. I want to make a friend with you in partnering up to do business, and that's the bridge that we're trying to get to right now. You're building on your side, I'm building on mine. How do we get to each other really and truly? How do we make it to where we meet halfway to do more? I can help you with what you have, you can help me with what I have. We can succeed and do more. The one thing a lot of people overlook is community building, community development, especially with social media. Pointed out before, and now I'm touching it again, because social media, AI, what people are doing with it, trying to influence others like it's supposed to make them respectable in what business and branding is. But ultimately, those people are so worried about making money right now, they overlook making a connection. I've spoken to many people in different ways where the conversations end very abruptly because they're just trying to sell me on something. They're not trying to help support me on something. Or I've gone and I've done these webinars and these live sessions where people aren't really making a connection overall. They're trying to sell somebody on something. You try and type and get involved, there's nothing there. There's no like, hey, don't take it to offense and I'm not answering you right now. After the session is over, we can catch up and talk what you're trying to get on the table, because I want to do more business. I need to expand my reach. So what people aren't looking at in that aspect is where they could gain a referral from somebody that would point more people their way, because hey, that somebody over there spent time with me, or that somebody offered something, that person gave me value in some way that makes me want to do more with them overall. So now we're living in an age of what you're really seeing online behind the scenes, if you haven't been paying attention to, is referral networking systems becoming more. Businesses now understanding what branding is, and from brand to brand, more so than looking at business to business, being able to affiliate with each other to hand each other this content that slays, that kills, that stands out for what the brand is, and having a connective force of showing, interacting, and engaging other brands, other people directly on content. That is the big win, and that's where you see this referral networking thing come into place, where you're seeing the affiliate marketing stand out, where you want to be a part of people who are go-getters, people who are showing results and success, not in the form of money, but in the form of they're expanding, they're getting more attention. Think about it this way. Nonprofits don't do what they do for money directly. Sure, they're making money, but they don't put the focus on money. They put the focus on they have a mission, and how do I get people to get involved and give away some time first in order to get to where you're going, finding those people that you belong with, the right people that understand you, where there's chemistry to do more, where you can collaborate and you can sync up that stuff that's inside to shift your mindset, to be able to propel forward over and over again, knowing you're not alone. That's the biggest thing that's missing for a lot of people, and I'm hoping that what I'm delivering to you now is going to help you get somewhere. So now that I've set you up for everything, where is it going? Well, I want to get you from the rough lands, from the crazy, past the pitfall of the gap that so many businesses fall into, where you see 50 to 85% of businesses fail every year trying to get over the bridge because the bridge was flimsy. They thought they were going to do it all by themselves. They didn't have somebody else on the other side to help. Overall, when you think about it, they could have lessened the work to make it quicker. There's ways to, go travel, say, hey, we want to get over here, and do. What about the fact that if you're trying to get over somewhere, you don't know who's on the other side, and you could disturb something, and somebody is now going to war with you saying, get off our land, and then, hey, oh, by the way, we're going to burn your bridge. Don't come back over here again. If you were on the bridge and it falls from under you while you were on it, we don't care because we didn't invite you over here. These aren't your lands, and what do you think you're doing? So now, looking at where you're coming from over here and you're seeing the valley, now let's get up back on the peak of things and see where it's time to summit your thoughts to do more. It's time to rise and elevate because you've done the pitfalls of business going up and down, and now you want to get to the top. It's the closing of the year, and this is the scramble part of the year for a lot of people to get their numbers up. Overall, looking at what's going to happen at the beginning of the year, especially with business basically shutting down a good bit come December, I want to say like 15th, 16th, right there before, school lets out, and then the Christmas break, and then we have New Year's. There's this whole something of parents having to take care of their kids not being in school, then getting ready for all the shopping and the family festivities, and then things still being off because everybody's trying to go celebrate the year passing and enjoying a few moments of downtime with the new year. And then you have that whole week after New Year's where things are still down. So think about that. There's about 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks, there's almost a month of where business tones down a lot here at the end of the year. How can you do something more to make sure that you're blasting off come the start, the real start, the hard start of Q1, quarter one? Well, I've been groomed in business since I was a DECA student in high school, since I was a business student in high school, to see more starting business in high school, working in high school while I'm doing sports, getting my grades, getting things done. Taking that and propelling and going to school, having stuff happen in school where family came first and I had to let go to take care of the means of my mom needing assistance with my sister. Then the breakout of all this stuff with social media and people playing with images and a situation happening that caused a big riff in that, but I've bounced back. I've done more. I've continued my career, being able to see it. I can become a network architect, network engineer, and also a bartender on top of all the things that I know. To be able to turn that into what you're about to get if you take some time to get to know me, take some time to hang out with me, and let me show you how to keep elevating to get to your summit. And that's where I come in with the pitch and I start this campaign of I've got 28 days, 29 days now to get something in place of a convention summit. And so my question to you is, are you going to summit? Just that's the campaign. But it's really, are you going to summit before the end of the year on your side? Are you going to get to the top of what you're doing? But for me, it's a promotion of saying, I'm creating a summit convention, trying to bring people together, and I only need 30 people on a team working together right now to get to a lucrative opportunity that can help really change lives, really do something across the world with a company that is focused on giving back to the people when it comes to marketing and putting money in our pockets before going and paying anybody else to do their promotions. And this has become one of the new things out here that a lot of people aren't paying attention to because of the referral networking and the affiliate marketing aspect. You don't know what you're doing, well then I don't know what to tell you, because I can come back and say, do you really know what you're doing? Do you really know what's going on, looking at other people who have made it to success and understanding what's there and being able to bring people together, put them all in one place and let people organize what's going on? That is the real essence of economy, It's not that supply rules demand, it's that there's people who demand, and how do you get them the supply of what they're looking for? That balance of equilibrium, �ceteris paribus assumption, all things remain equal if you just let them be. So you put people together in a place where they all have hopes, dreams, ambitions, they all have desires to do, and you let that work out where somebody's gonna have a conversation over here, 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 here. You never know how those conversations converge to do more, to take off. That is the whole reason why I'm putting this convention together and saying, all I need is 30 people, and I'm gonna help those 30 people get 10 people on their team as fast as possible to do more. So that's the big hit, and right now, getting out here and doing more, is that I'm creating an exclusive group of only 30 people to work with over the next few years to really do more. I'm not gonna keep chasing lead after lead after lead because I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. I'm trying to network, build a team, show this team where they have access to information, wisdom, and understanding of companies that have been out here really doing it. I'm talking about a company that's been out here as long as I've been alive, 40 years, that has been excelling in the background because they know what they're doing. They know how to serve their community. They know how to look out for the people and invest in their people before they invest in any garbage and filth, especially when you look at social media that's going to sink them. When you think about what's going on, how much do you own your platform and domain if you're dependent on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube as your platform to have a business on? If those platforms go away at any moment in time, everything you have is wiped away, and every connection that you had sitting there where you were so-called influential, and now you got to go figure out where they are if you haven't been doing this the right way. Do they know how to find you again if something like that happens? Have you been making direct connection where people know how to access you 24/7? Even if you can't reply immediately, you can't respond immediately, they have contact with you. A lot of people don't get this, and this is the pitfall of doing business, because if you're not platforming to get people to understand where you are, then you can hit a chokehold at any point in time, and that's not going to help you succeed at all. You gotta start all over again, and hopefully, you're not being beaten by the competition that got out ahead of you, that realized what you weren't, and while you were down, they took all of your people away from you because you weren't keeping proper contact. You didn't care about people, you cared about flashing money to people instead of anything else. So now, seeing that, wanting to accomplish more, understanding what some of these very well-established organizations and networks are doing, it's my time to step up and say, hey, I'm ready to do more in my journey. Thanks for helping me get my start and showing me what you have so that I can go pilot this 5-module step-through process that can help people make a change. So what you're getting from me is what I'm calling the Scramble Summit 2025. Do you want to show up? Are you going to Summit? On top of that, I created what's called the 9th Wave Reboot. It's going to help some people realize what referral networking is in order to do more in affiliate marketing, building and developing their brand. I've partnered up with the 𝐹𝑅𝐸𝐸 app founder to help him platform more of his stuff with my ideas that are different than some of his, but help give him insight as he gives me feedback on how to simplify things for people who are kind of in a rush and scramble. They've been looking at the money and they forgot to put the effort in to community building to do more. So I pitched this idea to him and he's ready to go. He's like, yes, you can use my platform. I love it. You host it here. So now it's time for me to make more connections. I gotta get sponsors, I gotta get endorsers, I gotta get everybody on page who wants to see this happen so that this can become more, because I need to now workshop my mentor and coaching space to get out this content that I've been doing. And when I was like, I can't sit here and do this in my home life because it's not studio space. I've been stuck in the calamity of business building for the past 2 years to get to this idea and do more, and I don't really have studio space. I can come out here, I can find places all over the place, but I don't have that insular something where I can really focus on what this is. I can pour it out the right way. You need a certain type of space in order to think a certain way, to get your mindset there where you can deliver, and that's what I'm focused on, and I just need the right people to help me get there so I can help you do the same. And so if you saw the key pieces of what I was trying to show you in the introduction coming in, it's about building your home life, where your home life leads to being able to do more for the office space, being able to do more for business, being able to do more for branding, being able to do more for community. I was showing you the connection point of moving from your house and getting out to community spots here at a recreational park where I'm bridging the gap of things in my own way to say it's time for me to take action and do more. And in that, the way to simplify everything I've said is, let me show you how to build a learn and earn community. It's going to help you see how to develop your own program, your own process within your business. It's going to help put money in people's pockets from get-go. Put money in people's pockets that are willing to support you in easy ways in the background that help them grow in networking. Then watch as you invest your money to do more, and then you take yourself to where you're doing your own conferences, your own conventions. You've now gotten to that next level of what real high commissions are, or high ticket affairs are, and bringing people together more so than anything else. It's about people coming together to do more. When we look at what's happened with the world, rushing to an ideology of what America is, and not understanding those of us who live here in the United States who have been going through the ups and downs, just like they've been going through in their country, where they want to look at us and say, like, why aren't we making a whole bunch of money? Because we're not stepping on what our home is. We're trying to connect to other people who have been stuck just like us, trying to get to more in business. We're not going to fall into the American dream of you can elect some official that's supposed to fix everything, because if you really listen to the voices and who tell you what's going on, those officials don't really do anything. It's the businesses behind them that lobby for them to be on top of. The Republicans that put the current president in place. Republicans that put other presidents in place. The Republicans that pretty much run the domain of what most people think is politics today. It isn't doing much for us. That domain is under control from those who have been privileged and entitled in a certain way of being that 1%. But they don't control the rest of us. We don't have to be stuck under their foot. This is why wars break out, and why over time, if you look at what's going on across the world, countries have disappeared off the map because they've been overtaken by a new conglomerate or a new enterprise or just a new ruling party that has done things more effective than those before them. Do you want to be knocked off for what you're doing in business where you thought you were on top of it with control, but as soon as people wake up and they realize that they can change their mindset, take back their life, get over the bridge, get over the hump, and start to get up the mountain, start the summit instead of taking the hits, they can stay on top? Because if they have to go down, it's to learn and to do and to discover and take things to the next level. You never stop learning. Don't let go of education and scholarship, because guess what? Education system is one of the strongest, longest-standing businesses that has lasted. And if you think about all these schools out here, they're brands that people have fallen in love with and they continue to pour into because they see no matter how much they've paid, they've got access to more. They've got organization, they've got stability, they've got people on their side that want to see them succeed. So do you want to succeed? And are you going to summit?